if you look back 6 months from where you are right now and you don't recognize a massive change or shift or some change in business, then you're just moving too slow. So if you can't look back 6 months from now and say like, wow, like these last 6 months have been fire, then you're stagnant and you're moving too slow.
Interesting.
And, I look back on that and, 6 months ago, we were just starting the fund and where we are now and all this. I mean, it's so much, it's crazy. I didn't have short-term rentals. I didn't have any of this stuff. And, now we do. And it's awesome. So, always challenge yourself, always take action, even if it's a littlest tiny step of action. If it's calling that real estate agent to get that deal, or if it's analyzing 3 deals a day, take that action step, hold yourself accountable, and you're going to grow so fast.
A lot of people, as they grow, they build their team out. And I'm curious with ADPI, obviously that's been a strength of your guys to build the team. But at the same time, a lot of times, there's difference in personalities, there's difference in goals. And, I've seen organizations kind of fall apart with infighting, especially when there's a lot of go-getters on the team, which there definitely is with ADPI. You guys are all go-getters. So how do you guys organize your team and keep everyone in alignment and working kind of toward the same goal?
Yeah, that's great. And that's hats off to Mark-Jan Sitch and Victoria Griggs. Victoria's the COO. And I think they spend the majority of their time on, we call them R&R calls, roles and responsibilities. And we're constantly adjusting these roles and responsibilities. When I started, I was just kind of the guy who's going to revamp the podcast. And then from there, it was like, okay, well, can you set up a single family mastermind? I was like, I think so. I've never done that before, but how hard can it be? And, I did that. And, but the point is your role is constantly changing. And we're a completely remote company. I mean, I'm in DC. As far as the founders go, we're all over the country. It seems like people are kind of gravitating towards, Florida right now, but who knows? Because some of us are still in the military. And it's just, you go where you're told effectively. But yeah, it's there's a software solution that I'm a complete nerd on that I love. It's called ClickUp. And it is a project management tool. It's like Monday.com and all that stuff. But we have adopted that and just jumped feet first into it. And we use it. We just had a Monday meeting today, and everyone has a ClickUp report with all of their goals scheduled, and we all go through it all, and we talk about it. Each person gets the floor. We talk. It's an extremely efficient meeting because we're all remote, because it's the only way we can do it. And then we run everything else on Telegram. The whole company's run on Telegram. And
really?
Yeah, we have, oh my God, we have private Telegram channels for each department, and we're constantly chatting back and forth as project leads and all of this stuff. And it's between those software solutions, we're able to communicate effectively. We used to use Voxer, but that we outgrew that. We switched to Telegram, and it's incredible. I run my entire single family mastermind for, gosh, I don't know how many, there's 250 students, Telegram.
Wow.
I got a coach tomorrow night. I coach, I open a Telegram live chat. Hey, everyone, if the students want to show up, they show up. If they don't, that's cool too. It's recorded. They can watch it whenever they want. And we talk about whatever the topic of the day is. And I'm on there for 30 minutes. So that's it. It's incredible what software can do, but you have to have goals. You have to have intention. You have to have the backbone.
I think that's a great summary right there. So you talked about everyone being synced on their goals and understanding what other people are doing, what their roles and responsibilities are doing, and then having a organized and synchronized system to track all that and stay on the same page. I think I appreciate that feedback. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. Last question here. I'm curious. So things are changing within the financial markets. Obviously, that affects real estate. How do you guys think about change? You're obviously influencing a lot of people, which has a lot of responsibility with it. And so I guess, what are you telling your community when it comes to how to invest right now? And what are you personally thinking about as you're continuing to invest in the future?
Yeah. So, everyone knows that the Fed is is doing what the Fed needs to do to raise interest rates. And I look back 6 months ago, 8 months ago, transitory inflation. I laughed. Oh, I laughed. I was like, transitory, my ass. And and lo and behold, I was correct. But a lot of people in the real estate world were like that. In the investor world, be like, yeah, that's nice. That's a good word, the word of the day. But where we are right now with inflation being at a 40-year high, and the consumer price index being at 8.6% as measured in May, we're in a position right now where it's costing Americans a lot of money to not put their money to work. And with the stock market as volatile as it is, it's tough. So, you have people who will say, oh no, just, when there's blood in the streets, that's when you invest. You buy your blue chip stocks and they'll go back up and you'll be fine. And to a certain extent, yeah, that's not terrible advice. However, from my perspective, I look at tangible assets. I look at things that I can touch, things that are hard assets, things that people understand. And the great thing about real estate, in my opinion, is that the general public understands its value because they look up and there's a roof over their head and they get that. With a company, with a stock, it's all paper. Decisions are being made way over your head. You have no clue what's going on and you're just riding market speculation. So that's why I always love real estate. And also real estate is extremely flexible in the way that you can invest and the strategies that you can employ. And there is literally a strategy for every market. And that's why I got into short-term rentals here in the DC market, because the average home cost, Kirby, is $590,000. Do you want to know what the average rent is? $2,200. Tell me that's going to cash flow. It will not. Spoiler alert, it won't. For the people trying to crunch numbers, listen to this podcast. So, and that doesn't include, of course, the HOAs or COAs or any of the other nonsense that they charge you. So, I looked at it and I said, okay, well, how can I get cash flow? And we started down the short-term rental route, and it's been incredible ever since. But that flexibility offered in real estate really kind of taught me a couple things. Number one being, it's not hard to make money. I think there's this big shroud around, oh God, it's so hard to make money because people equate time with money. But it's more about the strategy that you employ. And if you can understand investments and you can understand that the amount of time you put into something does not necessarily equal the amount of money you get. You don't get $30 an hour. You can do a webinar or something and make $4,000 an hour if you sell enough of them. That's just is what it is. You know what I mean? So people understand that once they can kind of get that in their heads and that idea in their heads, and they can take that, they can implement these real estate strategies. But in general, I love the commercial real estate side of things. We're actually seeing cap rate expansion in a lot of the markets that we're looking in because interest rates are rising, and people who don't have their stuff together, who don't have the capital, who are fake it till you make it people, which is a ton of syndicators out there, are losing out on deals. And the people who understand the business, have been doing it for years, and have a community of 56,000 investors aren't. So, there's power in that. And we're seeing, I'm loving the future of real estate. And as inflation continues to go up and interest rates rise, guess what's happening? It's becoming harder to afford a home, which sucks for a lot of people. But those people then are going to be forced to rent. Well, that's going to shoot the rental demand up. And when rental demand goes up, rent goes up, assuming supply stays the same. So I think over the next, 12 to 36 months, we're going to be in a high rent market as supply catches up, and, interest rates will stay relatively high. And I do believe that home prices will eventually plateau and start to actually come down as competition dwindles. But in general, if you can find a deal and get a deal, go for it, because you're going to be in a good position to take advantage of that higher rent. And if you're in the commercial world where the net operating income is king of the castle, then high rent is really great.